NewsNation correspondent-at-large, Mr. Geraldo Rivera.
Hello.
Former White House press secretary in the first Trump administration, Mr. Sean Spicer. Good to have you both. Oh, Sean's got a new book out, by the way, called Trump 2.0. Sean, Geraldo, good to have you. Geraldo goes first because he's sitting next to me, Sean. You know, you got the proximity advantage. It's good.
If I would have come to New York, if I knew that.
Oh, it would have been a fun party.
Come on, I'll have you one on each side and be like, So, Geraldo, I was hopeful that, thank God, nobody got hurt here, and that maybe having all these bold-faced names in one place with the could have been me would change. We got to do something different. This is no good. Nothing like that came out of it.
You know, I feel so badly that you're so hurt by it because I care for you as my friend and mentee over the years, and you know, I think that you've done a great job. But I think that sometimes idealism gets pushed aside, as it should, in favor of pragmatism. For example, Rand Paul, notoriously stingy in terms of spending public money, he just voted in terms of the White House ballroom in favor of it. It was an 8-to-1 vote. Now, why not get together on something practical like that? You know you hate each other. You know that ideologically speaking, you'll never the twain shall meet. You know that you think you're morally superior. Not you. I mean, in the.
I know I'm morally inferior. That's why I try to keep it amoral.
I think that it'd be better just to be pragmatic about it. Be pragmatic idealists. You want something to happen, make it happen.
But you're right. You're right. But pragmatically, Sean, you wind up right where you are. You know, we all know about what DJT 100 was supposed to be about, right? It was this ambition of, let me see how many people on both sides I can get to like what I'm about in this administration. But this works better. This dividing works better, and it's easier. And that's what gets rewarded within the parties and online by the algorithms. Why would you try anything else?
Yeah, respectfully, as a friend and a mentee as well, I disagree. It's not just reward, it's factual. I mean, look, I don't like to use events like this to score points, and I get maybe in that way we agree. But the reality is that Caroline was absolutely right. I mean, look, these guys are the first ones to point fingers. For Barack Obama, the President of the United States, to put out a tweet and say, we have no idea what the political leanings of this person are, his motivations, is patently false. The guy wrote a manifesto that was very clear about what his motivations were and what his intent was. So when we get gaslit, and Chris, I know that you and your family have been involved in politics, so I'm sure this might resonate with you as well, but I've dealt with that vitriol. I've had people come to my house. I've had people make threats. Too. And so, I know, that's why I'm saying I think you identify with this as well. But Geraldo's the only one that people just love. So maybe he doesn't get this the same way.
True.
But look, here's the thing.
I've been around for 100 years.
I think that you can say what you will about the president's rhetoric, right? And there's things that he said that I don't fully agree with, or how he expresses himself. Got it. But at the end of the day, Caroline was right. When you tell someone that they are a threat to democracy, a threat to this country, a threat over and over again, what do you think's going to happen? People are finally going to say, well, if that's a threat, I need to get rid of the threat.
You're right about half of it. And I'll say it this way, and I'll put it to Geraldo.
That's better than I did in high school, Chris.
But hold on. If you switch the R and the D, and this was Joe Biden who says the things that Donald Trump says on a regular basis about you, about me, about immigrants, about any group, put it in. They would go crazy. Sean's head would explode. But he's very mild because it's about Trump. Levitt is right about half of it, not all of it. And that's why nothing changes.
I feel badly that you're...
Look, can I just ask this? Can you guys just agree, though, there's a difference between mocking somebody and saying that they're a horrible person and whatever, and telling someone that they should be eliminated? Like, there's a difference to me.
Wait a second.
Nobody's saying he should be eliminated.
You saw the two sides to Donald Trump on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday night, when he came back after the traumatic event, he was magnanimous. He was inclusive. He was wonderful. And I said, wow, this may be something that will cause a new President Trump. And then the next day with Norah O'Donnell, he practically called her a slut and, you know, a disgrace and a horrible person and this and that. I mean, things that you would never think in your real life to call anyone. But knowing him as long as I know him, hold it a second. Knowing him as long as I've known him, I reconcile myself. That's who he is. He's mercurial. He's thin-skinned. He's entitled and aggrieved. And those are things that he is.
Imagine what your wife would say if you had talked like that in an interview.
Oh, my God, she wouldn't.
Man,
But there's a difference.
She would give me the cold shoulder to beat the band.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Time in. What do you got?
I'm just saying, like, look, I think that calling somebody a jerk or disgusting or whatever, okay, yes, I don't generally speak like that, but that's a very different thing than saying someone is a threat to the country and a threat to democracy.
He calls
I want to get rid of
a threat
threats.
to the country and democracy all the time. Sean, I don't have enough time to list it. And you know this. And you're right. People speak about him in a way.
It's funny, Chris, because
that it
all
would be nice
the
if they
assassination attempts seem to go in one direction.
He's in
right?
power.
It's Charlie Kirk, it's Donald Trump 3 times, it's Steve Scalise. Okay,
He's
I'm
in
just
power.
Saying, you
He's
notice
in
that
power.
every one of these people in the Trump administration needs a security deal, staff. No other press secretary in history, except for those who served Donald Trump, needed a Secret Service detail.
Sean, do you believe that the animus directed towards this administration has nothing to do with what the administration directs towards the people?
I don't know that there's an equivalence. Sometimes the language is inflammatory. But there's a difference when the Democrats in power tell you that there's a threat and they must be eliminated.
But where did it come from, Sean?
But why don't you compromise, Chris, and say you're for the ballroom? The guy should have a Purple Heart. He's been the victim of assassination attempts 3 times. The ballroom makes sense pragmatically.
I don't care.
Suggests that said he's
I don't care about
he's right.
the ballroom.
Maybe he's right about that.
The idea that we're talking about.
If you don't care about it, why don't you say you're for it? Or you're okay with it?
I'm okay with it. I don't care about the ballroom. You know, people aren't looking for me what I'm okay with, what I'm not. What I'm not okay with matters more, which is we're going to talk about whether a ballroom is the solution. Not that you have another mentally ill person who was able to get access to a weapon and get inside and try to commit a mass act of violence. But we won't discuss any of that. But a ballroom is the fix.
Caltech. I mean, this guy it's an intriguing story. I'll admit that. It's a
mentally ill
had a guy
people
go
aren't
from being an honor engineer,
he has a mental illness,
to this kind of breakdown.
But you don't. But stupid and sick do not, can be reconciled.
People have their own demons. You know, it's hard to reconcile that any one stimulus is why. What's the catalyst? Why did this person become a crazy person? You talked about
wait, they were
the massacre of the children up in Connecticut.
Yeah, but hold on, Sean. You want to say we know from the manifesto why he did it, and you're right. But since when do we start reading these manifestos from someone who's obviously deranged as proof of premise?
But the question, Chris, here's my point, though. It's why. When he is told over and over again why, when the Democratic Party tells people that violence is okay, when the CEO of United Health can be killed in cold blood, and they set up a defense fund for Luigi Mangione.
Sean, it's all wrong. But Sean,
didn't Gavin Newsom do it?
Sean, when you have an administration that puts out what this guy puts out and says what he says, it makes people angry. It does. What do you mean, no?
Gavin Newsom admitted he was praised for finally having some balls.
Be angry, be pissed off, but violence is never acceptable, ever, full stop. And there's no equivocating, there's no, they might be angry.
I agree.
No, never, never.
I know, Sean, but the problem is you guys only say that.
Preaching to the choir.
You only say that when it's about the other side being the problem, never when it's you as the problem.
No. Do you know what? Here's the deal. I've said this for every circumstance. Violence is never, ever the answer, okay? You think about this. How many people on the left set up a defense fund for Luigi Mangione that hit 7 figures? Because why did no one say anything during the BLM riots and destruction? Because violence is always going to be acceptable to folks on the left if it's in pursuit of a greater good. They do nothing to call it out.
What
right?
about Stephen
Chuck
Miller
Schumer
and that
said,
language and that incendiary language?
I mean, we have heard more ugly things out of this administration, but you make the right point, which is the one that I practice.
Ugly is different than threats. Ugly is different.
Look, he started the chance of lock her up, and he says, come on, it's not even a close call. But what I'm saying is this.
Lock her up is not killing.
I'm fine with saying there should be no violence. Yeah, I know. So stop inspiring it. That's the point. What I'm saying is you and I disagree. You and I disagree, right? But I would never threaten you personally. I would never say what we hear all the time here, that, hey, Sean, I've gotten tired of you cutting me off and wiping your face. When I see you, I'm going to untwist your head like a bottle cap. I don't do that. Why? I would never want anybody
I've heard you a couple of times.
But very rare, and I get upset at myself for doing
Chris,
that.
maybe you have.
I know. Look, I know it's the wrong thing to do. I know it's the wrong thing to do, and I don't think there are enough people in power who feel that way. That's my point. Trump 2.0 is Sean Spicer's new book. You're always welcome here to make the case. I wish you nothing but good things.
Thank you.
We can
I'll never
disagree,
hurt you.
not disagreeable. You could never hurt me. Geraldo,
Brother.
I know.
you could hurt me, but I love you. Take care. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.